Hello everyone. Each week I'm going to be making these short videos to kind of give you an introduction to the topic that we're talking about, to go over some of the points from last week, and also to underscore some of the really important concepts that I hope you're getting from the class. My goal today, as I come to you from my home office, is to talk to you a little bit about the syllabus so you know what's expected of you and you can really succeed in the course. Other weeks I'll go over your thought papers, share some of the insights from them, share some of the, underscore some of the key concepts of the readings, and also give you some more feedback and detailed information about the wiki, the final project that you'll be working on in the class. But first I wanted to go over some of the elements of the syllabus. You've already taken the first quiz, and I know most of you found it a real challenge. What I'm looking for on the quizzes is not just rote memorization of the topics that were covered. I really want you to try to make some connections, try to synthesize, the key idea from each reading, and think about how you can apply it to other things. Think about the news landscape right now, or to think about the current discussion about net neutrality and relate the readings to that. The quiz questions, too, will often ask you to determine the best answer, not just the only correct answer. That will require you to kind of judge between the answers and to kind of come up with your own judgments about what's important and what's really entailed. I know that first quiz was kind of a long one. I think the next quizzes will be shorter. They'll probably be worth fewer points as well, because that will make up for some of the errors that I made in the syllabus. I didn't want the quizzes to count quite as much toward your final grade as I had them originally. So if you look at kind of the new syllabus that I've uploaded, they're only accounting for 16% of your grade rather than 20%. On questions that are particularly difficult too, I think you already saw that I'm giving partial credit for answers that are close, especially on those questions where I ask you to determine what's the best one. So if you get the best answer, you'll get full credit. But if there's a couple of the answers that are close, I'm giving between 1 and 2 points for those questions as well. So I'm really trying to help you. I'm not trying to trick you with this quiz or make it really hard, but I'm trying to push you to think too. If you have any questions about the quizzes where there's a concept you just don't get, just let me know, either on the discussion board or by email, and we'll talk about it. If I notice that everyone really struggled with a question on the quiz, I'll bring up that question in our video for that week. As you can see too, I've already posted the thought papers for the rest of our time together. These will be due each Monday morning at 9 a.m. With the thought paper, I want to see your reflections, your thoughts and opinions and insights onto the readings. So the thought paper should not summarize the readings. They don't need to quote extensively from the readings. They should be more about what you think about them. But I do want you to make sure that you mention all of the readings. Don't just take one of the readings and give your opinion on it. Try to bring the readings together. Try to synthesize them into something greater. Also, don't forget about the discussion board. You'll have an original response to the question that I ask each week, and then 2 responses to your classmates' responses. I'm doing this to kind of simulate what we'd normally do in class. These are some questions that I would ask in the semester-long class that I teach here on campus. And they're related to the readings, they're related to the topic that week, but they also might go in different directions. I mean, that's one of the great things that I like about teaching. I learn as much from my students as I hope they learn from me, because they show me different directions and different ways of thinking about the topic. And that's what I'm really looking for in the discussion board. Finally, I've provided detailed information about the key final project for this class. Instead of having you write a research paper about a topic related to online journalism, I'm asking you to create a wiki, just like you'll see on Wikipedia or something like that. Students in the past, as you'll see if you go on Blackboard, I posted some past students' examples. They've used a platform called Wikia. I'll put the link down here, which is actually the same software that powers Wikipedia. You can use that as well, or you can use the Blackboard wiki that I've set up. The idea of having you do a wiki rather than a research paper is really to apply some of the principles that we're talking about in the class. One of the challenges of online journalism is we were so used to the one-way feedback that we had before. I'd write a newspaper article, you'd read it. And if you really cared about it, you'd write a letter to the editor. Now we're working in a world where feedback is instantaneous, and we have to adapt our journalism to that. And I think a wiki is a great way to do that. Because first off, you have to focus on facts, just like journalism does. But second, you have to acknowledge that your audience may not read it in the way that you think they do. The wiki also helps to emphasize the connected nature of the world that we live in. It's a really interesting exercise, I think, that hopefully will teach you, not just a lot about wikis, not just a lot about your topic, but really about the way that we use and consume news and information right now. Consider a couple of statements made by Ward Cunningham, the person who created the concept of a wiki. His first key point, as you can read right here, is that wikis are open to all. The wiki is kind of the ultimate democratic process. And as we write, as we put together something like this, we need to keep that in mind. Second, I mentioned this earlier, but wikis need to be interconnected. Innumerable points of entry, by that he means that you don't have to start at the start and go to the end. You can also get lots of different points of entry from different web links. That's one of the reasons why I'm asking you to add multimedia and to embed some of that, because that promotes what's called the link economy, or the idea that the more links that you have in and the more links that you're going out expands the audience exponentially for what you're trying to do. And finally, this is a hard one for journalists to kind of wrap their minds around. A wiki is never complete. I know as a reporter, I wrote stories and thought, oh man, I put all my hard work, blood, sweat, and tears in this story, and now it's finally finished. If you've been on the internet at all, you've noticed that that doesn't really happen anymore. That we really need to continually update and continually work on the stories that we're doing. And that's what a wiki kind of forces us to do. As you're writing your wiki, stay away from statements that make it seem that way. Make it seem like this is the final wiki. Embrace the non-complete nature of the project that you're working on and invite people to contribute to it and to help your wiki live on forever. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you've learned a few things from today. If you have any questions, always feel free to email me or call me at the number that I posted on the syllabus. I'm looking forward to talking to you and working with you throughout this brief time that we have together this summer.